You teased something in the opener as well that Sports Illustrated is picking the Detroit Lions. You said it was AI predicted, right?
No, it was Sports Illustrated.
Just straight up Sports Illustrated.
Yeah.
Picking the Detroit Lions to win the Super Bowl. And for me, it's comforting to hear because in all these other micro lists you see, Detroit Lions have the best offense. Detroit Lions have the best defense. Detroit Lions are probably one of the top teams in the NFC. Detroit Lions have this as a top 25 under 25. Detroit Lions are 20 to 25% of the list. So who's going to win the NFC North? The Packers. Tom Brady. Who are the top threats to the Chiefs? 49ers and you know what?
Cowboys.
Bro. He said the Packers. The Packers. No Detroit Lions mentioned anywhere, and that's what I'm talking about. So to hear this from SI, it's like, you know what? That to me that's supposed to be the appropriate answer. Like 2 plus 2 is supposed to equal 4. Everything else they say the Lions have, but when it gets down to who's going to actually be that team in the NFC North, I'm seeing too many people comfortable.
Yeah, what?
With Green Bay Packers in their mouths. Get it out your mouth. Word to my guy, Flannel Sam, stop glazing the Packers. The Detroit Lions have earned this right, and you know what? I'm so glad that they don't care if anyone gives them their props or their due. They're going to take it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love when they play with that edge. I want Hutch with that edge. I want Amon-Ra with that edge. I want Penei Sewell with that edge. I want J-Mo, who we're seeing much more confident. I want them all with that edge.
How about Jack Campbell?
I love it. Jack Campbell. You already know how I feel about these linebackers, brother.
I know, right?
You already know.
I know, right? I don't know who created this list or who created the prediction, but I'm going to go ahead and give credit to Doc Macaroon. Our friend John Doc Macaroon, who works for SI, the All Lions podcast. I'm going to say you gave him that Super Bowl champion, my guy. I don't think it was him, but shout out to Doc.
Shout out to the
legend,
guy, man. Great guy.
Legend,
Great guy.
Legend. So they got Super Bowl predictions for the Lions. Then you flip over to ESPN, who started ranking they ranked all 32 coaching staffs. Head coach, offensive coordinator, and defensive coordinator. Dan Campbell, Ben Johnson, and Aaron Glenn. Kool-Aid,
okay.
Where do you think the Lions fell?
Head coach, man. I would think they would probably put them top 4, top 5.
Okay.
Dan Campbell.
What if I told you top 5 had the Ravens and the Chiefs and Rams?
Yeah.
And there's a fourth one I'm not forgetting. But, actually, no, I'm going to find it right here.
Because Andy Reid, John Harbaugh.
Here we go. Number 5, Baltimore Ravens. Number 4, San Francisco 49ers.
And his head coach.
That's the head coach, offensive coordinator, and defensive coordinator.
Overall.
Ooh. Yeah, overall in the entire NFL. Okay. At number 3, the Los Angeles Rams. Sean McVay, Mike LaFleur.
At least top 3 or 4.
Chris Shula. Well, you're right, because they're number 2. They're number 2. Detroit Lions. Yeah, that's it. We got national attention now. Now giving credit to other than Aaron Glenn has coaching experience, but Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson are in year 3. Ben Johnson's like 2.25. Like, they are brand new, but have already earned the respect, the trust of the national. Like, they're a staff that most would probably just put at number 10 because, they've been great, but they just haven't had the experience, the longevity. Number 2, that says they're for real. More people than outside of Detroit says they're for real. I believe it. It feels really good to me to know that ESPN believes that.
You know what? And that's why I can't wait to see when the rest of their analysts and their hosts start to put out their predictions for the NFC North and the NFC overall to see, okay, are you guys going to stay consistent here? Because I agree. I'm comfortable with this ranking with the Lions at 2 with an opportunity to prove that they probably deserve to be at number 1. All of the intangibles are there, but like you said, you want to see the longevity of success. And the Lions right now are set up for a position to be able to punch that home, led by Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
And you know what? It goes beyond even, in my opinion, when you talk about the OC and the DC, when you talk about the fact that they don't rest on their laurels.
Nope.
You know what? They've brought people in that they thought could do the job. Some of those people have been their friends, and if they thought, we got to move on from this individual, which this organization has been hard-pressed to do in the past. In the past, they wouldn't do this to the detriment of the team. No, this organization has said, you know what? We got to go in a different direction. Bringing in Terrell Williams, come on. Boom. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? To a D-line that's already hungry, that's already chomping at the bits. Now you're going to go and you're going to get them the best positional coach who other players in the league are saying, no, that guy makes a difference. Whether you know what these coaches are doing or not, you got other players in the league talking about our guys. Like Aaron Glenn was what? Rated the number 1 coach that other players would want to play for.
That's referenced in this article. That the NFLPA They voted, and Aaron Glenn was the number 1 rated defensive coordinator.
Some number ones in the chat.
That means something. And Kool-Aid, you have not a hero, but a fan favorite in Detroit as your cornerbacks coach, Dre Bly. Most young coaches, how about one more year, Dre? Let's work together and figure it out. No. Dan Campbell made the tough decision.
Yeah, how many good cornerbacks have we seen in our lifetime?
Not many.
Dre Bly is probably one of the top what?
Top 2.
That's what I was gonna say.
And he was better in L.A. He was better with the Rams.
So I don't care. The sentimental. I don't care.
Yeah.
We're not here to be sentimental. Like, what did Brad Holmes say? No cute seasons.
None.
That needs to be on a shirt. No cute seasons. Period.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, you know what? It was a nice thing to be like, hey, let's get Dre Bly in here because he was a guy who had some mild success. He is a guy here who probably did have some things to teach. But if you see, you know what, there's a ceiling to what he's able to provide to our journey, then you got to move on. And they've shown that they are not afraid to do that. And they do it in a way where, realistically, I'm not seeing anybody bad-mouthed. I'm not seeing any bad or negative press.
No.
I'm not hearing any fallout. I'm seeing some of these people be able to go on and get other jobs, which means that the Lions organization is backing them up and giving them good remarks. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this organization is just doing stuff in such a clean way. It's even evident in how they repaired the relationship with Calvin Johnson.
Yeah. It's so unique how Dan Campbell has had this success. Some quotes in here, and I see some great comments in the chat that I'm about to read.
Yep.
Quotes in why they're number 2. It's hard to build a locker room of faith and patience like that, and Campbell has done it expertly. Then he goes on to say some of Campbell's best decisions look obvious in hindsight, but it's easy to forget how bold they were at the time. Even bumping Penei Sewell, an elite left tackle in college, to right tackle is a sort of thing lesser players and lesser coaching staffs mess up. So true. John Henry says, we will have the best D-line in the league. That will put our D in the top 8. Offense will be top 3. And then Ed O'Neill, on that topic of the locker room and the players, he continues, I don't understand why people think the Lions will regress when most of their best players are 24 or younger.
Dog, our chat family's on it.
If we were an older team, I'd get it, but that's not the case.
Hey, you know what, man? I love it, chat. I need y'all to stay fired up about the Detroit Lions today. Definitely get your love into these comments. Make sure that you guys are also hitting that like button. I'm getting pumped up the more and more we talk about this because why? Not just because they're playing football tomorrow, but it's the last preseason football game. That means that the real thing is just right around the corner, and we get right out the gates to boot them kids, man. Detroit Lions versus the LA Rams.
This is number 2 coaching staff. Number 2 coaching staff against number 3 coaching staff. Yeah, I'd love to see Dan Campbell and crew ahead of Sean McVay and crew. There are 3 NFC North teams in the top 10. So as I was putting together my coaching rankings on the side, I'm like, man, I've learned to like Kevin O'Connell, or at least respect him. Matt LaFleur, we know is good. He's got his playoff issues, but he's got like a 54-27 record in 6 years. Got to respect him. Eberflus and the Bears, they were 25th, but I don't believe in the Bears yet this year. But I have a newfound respect for Matt Eberflus. Like, I get it now. It looked a little cheesy to start. And this might sound funky. He got some facial hair. Like, his wife made him grow out some facial hair. His hair's a little slick back. He actually just, he seems cooler. And he seems like he fits that new Bears culture, which is pretty cool. What Ryan Poles has going on, I didn't see it. I'm starting to see it a little bit with watching Hard Knocks. Yeah. I don't know if it's going to work, but it seems like they're doing their own type of thing. It's a different type of culture than the Lions. It's not necessarily that all grit. Like, I'm pumped at what the Lions culture is.
Yeah.
It's all grit. It's toughness. It's that football mentality. But the Bears, it's a little bit more Hollywood, but it's after they get their work done. I don't know. I see now what Eberflus is doing.
You can at least understand his vision. And you know what? I can respect an evolution of a person, both in mentality, thought process, and work ethic as well. So even though they are a rival, I can always see, tip of the cap to people like that. But we're still going to beat that. Hey, you know what? Shout out to Art Vandelay. He says SOL was put in the grave last year. Nobody realizes the difficulty on getting back to the Super Bowl more than DC in golf. Complacency will not be allowed in this building. Yeah.
Demon Dice, our Bears guy, Eberflus, took his lumps last year. He did. And then he turned that defense around, which still has some holes, but they were the number 1 rush defense for the most of the year. I think they might have finished the year like that. You're right. Ryan Broder is buying into Chicago a little. A little. I'm not. They're not.
You can understand what they're doing.
Yeah, they're not taking over the Lions yet. They didn't address their interior offensive line or their defensive interior defensive line. Oh, did I read they just made a trade for a center? Nonetheless, all the NFC North teams, they did nothing up the middle. So till they do that, I'll take them more seriously. But you're right. I don't think they're going to be a joke. Chat members, man. Look, I know we got to get into the next segment. Yes.
So we'll talk about this if we want the next. But I got to read Steve-O, baby. Art. But you know that it can come back, right? It's like a villain. Just because you think they're dead, they come back to life. Wait a second. There's still fans that believe same old Lions could become a thing again?
It's gone. No, that's gone. It's
Steve-O,
gone.
baby. Explain yourself.